Hi there, welcome back to the Community of Readers video blog. We're following the Old Testament readings for the Monkey Bar Challenge, and this week we're looking at 3 prophets, Haggai, Zechariah and Malachi. This is called the Holy Grail. Well, this is the end of the prophets for us, the last episode on the prophetic tradition of Israel. And with it we deal with 3 of the smaller prophets who come at nearer the end of the story after Israel, the people of Israel, have been exiled to Babylon and then return to the land once again. Now what we have to remember is the context into which this all happened. When the people were exiled to Babylon, it was the leaders, the wealthy people, the people who are skilled workers, who were taken away. The people who were left were the vast majority of ordinary Israelites who continued to work the land. While the people were in Babylon, you've got these prophets like Ezekiel and the people in the Isaiah tradition dreaming of this new kingdom that was coming, this new empire of God based in Zion. Their religious imagination is working overtime. And the historians are busy penning their accounts, trying to make sense of what was happening to them. And out of that emerges Samuel and Kings. But back in Judah, under Babylonian rule, the people are leaderless, religious infrastructure has crumbled, and they are worried about how to get through the day, how to farm enough food. It's subsistence, it's the cares of family life that are the main order of the day, and they practice a loose combination of Yahwist religion mixed with local pagan religion. And so then you get this moment in 537 BC when Cyrus the Persian overthrows the Babylonian Empire, and it is he that gives the decree that enables the people of Israel to go back to the land of Judea, or Yehud as it was called in its Persian name. And suddenly there is a clash. 2 cultures coming together, one people, but 2 very different experiences over the last 60, 70 years. The people who had been living in Judea have been getting on fine without their elders and betters, and yet those elders and betters have been doing a lot of work whilst in Babylon, and they come back with big dreams. How will the people fare? This is the context, and that is the question into which Haggai, Zechariah and Malachi emerge. So Haggai first. Haggai believes that Zerubbabel, the new governor of the province of Yehud, one in the line, the kingly line of David, is the one who should lead the people. And this is a big debate. Who should it be? Because without the monarchy, the priestly line has more power. If you imagine there were institutions in a nation, and when the monarchy was big, the priests were important, but they didn't have the same kind of power. But once the monarchy hasn't got the power, the priests come more to the fore. And Haggai is interesting because his basic message is, in these difficult economic circumstances that the people found themselves, he's saying, why are you focused on your own, on building your own panelled houses when the house of Yahweh remains a ruin? So he calls the people to action to rebuild the temple. So you think, okay, there's going to be a temple focus here. He's going to be on the side of the priests. But in fact, it is Zerubbabel who is chosen as Yahweh's signet ring. He is the one in Haggai's prophecy who is ordained for leadership. In Zechariah, there's this prophecy about the golden lampstand. And it is Zerubbabel and Joshua who in that prophecy are side by side of this golden lampstand. The golden lampstand is a symbol from the temple. So you've got Zerubbabel, the governor, in the kingly line of David, who many hoped would be able to become king in this big dreaming they're doing about becoming a new kingdom, even though it is completely implausible in this vast Persian empire. But you've got Zerubbabel one side of the golden lampstand, and you've got Joshua the other. And Joshua was the high priest. So you have contender for king, and you have high priest. And in Zechariah's world, the two have to go hand in hand, but it's centered now in the temple. This is the new place of power and of religious unity, and the basis on which the people will be able to form the kind of society, the kind of religious life that's going to bring around the kingdom of God. But it's interesting because the vision of Zechariah ends with this powerful, almost pungent line that there will be no Canaanite in the house of the Lord Almighty. This is the new focus. How do we get clean from the contamination of the foreign religion, the people who have married foreign wives? This was what was going on while the leaders were in Babylon, intermingling, practicing other religions as well as Yahwism, marrying other people. And when the people come back, there's this strong focus. We've got to get clean. And you get that in Malachi as well. And Malachi really is focused on the priesthood. But he's interesting because he's more like one of the other traditional prophets who brings this critique against the establishment for failing to practice justice, for failing to take seriously the ritual offerings at the temple, and for marrying into other religions. Again, it's about cleanliness and purity, but the prophetic drive is now against the priesthood rather than the kingly line, because it is increasingly in this brave new world the priesthood who have the power. There's a snapshot here of 3 prophetic works, each dealing with the context that Israel now found themselves. Once the monarchy was dissolved, the nation diminished, and the people having to deal with this culture clash and work out where was leadership coming. They deal with this sense, particularly Malachi, that the economic situation was tough, that the dream that they had in Babylon had not come true. The empire of Yahweh ruling from Mount Zion, with all of the Gentile nations flocking to bow down and worship, had not come to pass. Here they were, struggling to survive. It's Malachi's vision that says this kingdom is coming. You had better be ready. It's a question, isn't it, for our time? How do people with different religious ideas get on? This is a story of a divided people reunited, having to face the tensions that kicked up. In our world, the question, how do we coexist? People from different religions and none. How do we, with all our different ideas about how to run the world, about who should be in charge, about how we should be organised, what we should believe, how do we work that out? That, it seems to me, is the holy grail of human history. That we work out how to live together, even though we do not agree. These prophecies invite us into that tension, and they provoke us to think about how we could create a future in which we don't only coexist, but together we thrive.